Starting this list off at number 10 is Jussie Smollett. His big lie was one of the biggest scandals in Hollywood in 2019, and it is still ongoing. Back in January of 2019, news articles started flooding with headlines that Jussie was involved in a hate crime after being attacked by two men. The reports claim that he was attacked with a rope around his neck and that they poured chemicals on him while yelling homophobic slurs. The two suspects were arrested, but in court they revealed that it was all set up by Jussie and showed a check that he had paid them to stage the entire thing. On February 21st, he was arrested on suspicion of filing a false police report and was charged with 6 counts of lying to police, all of which he pleaded not guilty to. But prosecutors ended up dropping all the charges. However, the Chicago police argued that he got away with it because of his celebrity status, so an investigation was opened and he is now set to head to trial. As of right now, at the time of this recording, reports say his lawyers have been given an additional 2 weeks to prepare their arguments. The tea. Up next, number 9 is Brandy. We have seen celebrities fake relationships in the past as a publicity stunt, but this one was one that just went too far. The singer and actress announced back in 2002 that she had gotten secretly married to a music producer, Robert Smith. She said they had a private wedding and kept it small. The relationship went on to be featured in Diary Presents Brandy Special Delivery, which documented the birth of their daughter. Everything seemed to be genuine and normal, but in 2004 the truth came out and it was revealed that the two of them had split. Brandy went on the Oprah show and revealed that they had never actually been married in the first place and said that they lied. She was 6 months pregnant when she had gotten married, and she only lied about it because she didn't want people to judge her for having a child without being married. She ended up using her Oprah interview to issue a public apology. Is that forgivable? I mean, I don't care. What difference does it make? But I guess in the special, the show she had, it was all about their marriage and like baby, and it's like, you're not even married. Swiping the number 8 spot is the White Stripes. Jack and Meg White were adored as band members in the famous rock band, but people thought they were siblings because that's what they told everyone. Turns out that is not true at all, and they were actually once married. A marriage license surfaced online revealing they were married from 1996 to 2000. At first, the two of them denied the license was real and kept the whole sibling story, but then it was revealed to be real. Seems like a strange thing to lie about, in my opinion, right? Apparently the reason they lied is because they didn't think they would be taken seriously as musicians if they were a couple in the band, so they just told people that they were siblings and stuck to it. But how awkward would that have been if someone caught a picture or something of them kissing or holding hands or something? I don't know, I felt like that's so risky. Moving on to number 7, we have Kim Kardashian. She has been called out on numerous occasions for photoshopping her pictures, but it seems she took things a little too far in her latest Skims campaign. She released her ad for her shapewear brand Skims, and Kim can be seen drawing a finger over her hips and down into the dip of her waist. But as her finger trails down, it distorts and squiggles across the curve of her body. Immediately, people start calling her out, saying that there was a huge Photoshop fail and that it was very obvious, and questioned how she's selling a shapewear brand if she's going to sell it by photoshopping her body. Kim personally avoided the whole scandal like the plague, but her team removed the ad campaign and released a statement saying it was, I quote, an error as a result of the video losing its quality during the uploading process. No one bought that excuse, which was a straight up lie, because I work in film and I've had videos edited and I've edited videos and I've exported them, and that does not happen, even in the quality of the processing. Come on now. It didn't glitch anywhere else, just when she did it on her waist, y'all. Cruising into number 6, we have Lance Armstrong. The wildly successful athlete was caught in the most sophisticated and successful doping program the sport has ever seen, according to the US Anti-Doping Agency. People were shocked when the news first broke, but he later admitted it during his interview with Oprah that he in fact had been taking substances. But there was much more to it than just him taking them. He was involved in a professional doping program. He was stripped from his cycling titles and dropped by all of his sponsors, including Nike Inc. and Livestrong, and he was also banned from professional cycling races altogether. He ended up reaching a $5 million settlement with the government, but his career has never been the same since. In 2020 though, fans got to learn a lot more about the situation when a documentary called Lance came out, so if you're wanting to learn more on his career, the scandal, everything, go check that out. I've been intrigued. I have not, because I'm busy, but I have been interested. Halfway through our countdown at number 5, we have Kylie Jenner. Back in 2017, people were going crazy online about the rumors that Kylie was pregnant. Fans started speculating online and doing a deep dive on all her posts trying to prove that she was pregnant. Even paparazzi were doing all they could to get a photo that proved it, but she and her family kept denying it in all of their interviews. After she finally revealed the truth to the world, she explained that she lied about it because this was the one thing she wanted to not share with the world. Even her producers who filmed Keeping Up with the Kardashians with her said she hid it from them during filming her Life of Kylie season. But Kylie recently announced she is pregnant with her second child, and she is sharing this pregnancy with the world this time. You can't hide anything from fans. Or paparazzi. They always find out. In spot number 4, we have Brian Williams. The journalist, who is the father to actress Allison Williams, repeatedly told a story that claimed while he was on a reporting trip to Iraq in 2003, he was riding in a helicopter that came under fire and had to do an emergency landing. The story was believed every time he told it, until soldiers who were actually in the helicopter he was referring to came forward and told the truth. They revealed that Brian was not actually in the helicopter with them and said that he and his crew had actually arrived on scene about an hour after the helicopter performed its landing, which is obviously a very different story than the one that he was telling people. After being caught in the lie, he immediately apologized and claimed that he must have made a mistake and gotten his memories of the day mixed up. How do you? Come on. Oh, I just thought I remembered I was on this plane that went into flames. Like, give me a break, people. Taking over the third spot is Ed Sheeran. Now, this one isn't as serious as the last one, but it is very funny. Back in 2016, he was sporting a new look that involved a cut on his face. When asked what had happened, he claimed it happened at a party with James Blunt and Princess Beatrice. Apparently, James jokingly asked Beatrice to knight him, and when she grabbed the ceremonial sword, she accidentally cut his face in the process. It seemed like a very random and strange story, but people believed it because, hey, weird stuff happens at parties all the time, especially when there's alcohol involved. But a year later, James spilled the beans about what really went down and admitted that the whole story that Ed told was a lie. Turns out Ed was just drunk and he was messing around and accidentally cut himself. He said that they thought it'd be really funny to make up this crazy fancy story, and then when people actually fell for it, they just stuck to it. And if you're wondering, Princess Beatrice had nothing to do with it, she was just randomly thrown into that story. Sniping number 2 spot is Rebel Wilson. While I'm sure a lot of people would like to lie about their age, I know I would, you can't really do that when working in the acting industry. In 2015, an Australian magazine called Woman's Day published an article that called out Rebel for apparently lying about her age, name, and certain claims about her upbringing. Her initial age was believed to be 29 years old at the time, but the magazine revealed she was actually 35. Also, her birth name is Melanie Elizabeth Bounds, and she apparently did not have the upbringing that she has talked about in interviews. Now, Rebel never admitted to lying, she actually did the opposite. She filed a lawsuit against various publications because many media outlets also claimed that her real age was 35. She never fought against the claims being true or not, but she said that painting her as a liar had affected her career and ability to land roles. Earning our number 1 place is Martha Stewart. I'm sure we were all equally as shocked when news broke in December 2001 that she was allegedly involved in an insider trading scandal. Insider trading is where an individual buys or sells stocks that they have in a company using information that is not available to the public. That is what Google told me anyways. Don't quote me. An investigation was launched after she had denied being involved in anything, but it turns out that she was lying. She repeatedly denied doing any wrongdoing, claiming that she had an agreement with her broker to sell the shares if they went below a certain price, but that was proved to not be true. Martha ended up getting charged with security fraud, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy. She was sentenced to 5 months in jail and 5 months of house arrest after that, and 2 years probation, and later had to pay $195,000 to settle a civil case with the Security and Exchange Commission. Kicking off our countdown list at number 10 is Lori Loughlin. The actress and mom was caught in a huge lie that had both her and her husband behind bars. Back in 2019, news broke that she had been caught in a college admissions scandal that involved her 2 daughters, $500,000, and forged test scores. All of these lies were told to try to get her daughter's early admissions into a very competitive school. She and her daughter even faked rowing pictures to try to make her profile better, even though she is not a rower. like at all. The truth all came out and the entire family took the heat for these lies. Lori was given 2 months in prison and a $150,000 fine, 2 years of supervised release, and 100 hours of community service. Her husband received 5 months in jail, and her one daughter Olivia Jade, who's in the spotlight, faced a ton of backlash online and was dropped by a lot of her brand partnerships. Up next, number 9 is Paris Hilton. She has been in a few controversies throughout her career, but one of them led to her arrest. And it just so happened to be the one where she was caught in a bunch of lies. The lie came when she did an interview with Larry King and told him that she had never done illegal substances. She told him she took Adderall and explained that she has ADD and has to take it. However, that seemed to be a lie because in 2010 she was arrested in Las Vegas for having illegal substances in her possession. She was found in a car with her boyfriend at the time when officers saw smoke wafting from the car. They decided to investigate what was going on and they found more than they were expecting. She ended up pleading guilty to substance possession and obstructing an officer. She did not receive prison time, if you remember the story, but she did walk away with a hefty probation, community service hours, and a fine. Cruising into number 8, we have Bill Clinton. It was one phrase that he lied about constantly, and it was that lie that launched one of the biggest scandals in political history. The phrase being, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman." It was his denial about having an affair on his wife Hillary Clinton with a White House intern named Monica Lewinsky. However, the truth came out and involved secret tapes and an ongoing sexual relationship between the two of them. It was his actions and his lie that led to his impeachment in 1998 for lying under oath. Bill and Hillary, who stayed together despite the affair, recently opened up about the scandal in a 2020 Netflix documentary called Hillary. In the documentary, he said the affair was a way of managing his anxieties, and the reason he lied was because of the risk. He admitted that he knew it was bad for his family, bad for the country, and bad for people who worked with him during that time. Some of them knew, y'all. Some of them knew. And they were too scared to tell anyone because they would lose their job. Would you tell? No. That's the President of the United States. I ain't telling shit if I work in the White House. Sniping the number 7 spot is Flo Rida. Back in 2014, he was facing a huge scandal in his career when his former assistant came forward claiming that he had underpaid her. A woman named Mahogany Miller sued him in 2012, claiming that he worked her to her bone for chump change and then fired her when she complained about the low wages. The lawsuit dragged on for more than 2 years, with the rapper claiming his innocence, lying and saying that her claims were not true. But apparently that was all just one big lie, and she had some evidence to back it up when it came to fighting this in court. She was his administrative assistant and said she worked 65 hours a week while being paid less than the minimum wage. Is that even legal? In 2014, he agreed to settle it and pay her just under $9,000 and then another $10,000 to her attorneys. Rolling into number 6, we have Steve Rannazzisi. The comedian made one of the worst decisions in his career when he decided to lie about escaping the 9/11 attacks. The worst part was he kept up this charade for years until he got exposed. During interviews, he would often speak about how he followed his dream of being a comedian due to the terrifying events of that day. In 2009, he claimed he had been working for Merrill Lynch on the 54th floor of the South Tower when the first plane hit. He spoke in detail about what happened in that moment and everything that he remembered from that day. However, in 2015, evidence surfaced and proved that his story was a lie. There was no record of him ever working in the World Trade Center, and on that day, there was evidence that he was actually in Midtown. The comedian came forward admitting that he lied about the whole thing and said, "I was not at the Trade Center on that day. I don't know why I said this. This was inexcusable. I am truly, truly sorry." Yeah, I ain't got nothing to say. I don't know how you lie about something like that. And why. Anyways, I'll go on a rant. Taking the halfway point at number 5 is the writer James Frey. A report showed that James was caught lying to Oprah and to the readers of his memoir. James was caught lying about many events that were shared in his book. A book that was initially praised for its work on love, loss and addiction, all while being featured for a top pick on Oprah's book club. Though shortly afterwards, the public would later find out that James Frey made the entire thing up. leading for James's career to immediately take a turn for the worse as his agency dropped him and his publisher filed a class action lawsuit against him. Later, James was confronted by Oprah about his dishonesty, with Oprah confessing that she finds it difficult to even talk to him in the interview as she doesn't know what's the truth and what is false. Not to mention the millions of readers that were deceived by his untruthful writing. Moving on to number 4, we have Bow Wow. The American rapper was caught being dishonest when he posted an Instagram picture flexing his private jet and luxury lifestyle. But Bow Wow was spotted by a fellow passenger on a commercial flight in economy class. From connecting the dots, fans were able to trace down the original photo posted on Instagram of the private jet to the stock photo that a fan took on Snapchat and exposed him. After being called out for this, Bow Wow couldn't live it down and was mocked on social media, with the hashtag Bow Wow challenge trending all over Twitter afterwards, of people essentially posting side-by-side images, with the first one being seemingly glamorous and the second image showing the harsh reality. Now, there is nothing wrong with flying economy class, but why'd you feel the need to lie, man? Did you really think no one would see you on that flight? Taking the third spot on this list is Tiger Woods. Seeing Woods in controversial headlines is nothing new, but this lie was one of the biggest. During a golf tournament, Tiger Woods apparently had a disagreement with his opponent, Sergio Garcia. Later on in the match, Tiger Woods interacted with the course marshals, with the marshals giving Woods permission to swing, even though his opponent was supposed to be going first. This led to the distracting crowd impairing Sergio's game because of the noise that Woods sparked, though when the course marshals were asked about the incident and why it happened, they did not recall giving Woods permission to continue. This miscommunication led Tiger Woods to win the series, leaving a forever standing feud between the two players, as Sergio felt like he was at the major disadvantage due to Tiger's actions, which he kinda was. In recent interviews, Tiger Woods has actually admitted in multiple interviews about his deceptive behaviors, and even stated that he was living a lie and that he did this because he found it fun. Cruising through to number 2, we have the infamous Kanye West phone call to Taylor Swift. This crazy story starts with Kanye purposely leaking video and audio footage of the conversation that he had with Taylor over the phone. The leaked footage made it seem like Taylor gave full permission for Kanye to use the line, I quote, "I made that boop famous" in one of his new singles. But in reality, Kanye never actually read that line to Taylor, and he put the explicit lyric in his song without her consent. After Kanye leaked the edited conversation to the public, many people were quick to send Taylor Swift an absurd amount of hate, claiming that she was in the wrong because in the audio Kanye leaked, she was clearly fine with being mentioned in the song that way. Though nearly 4 years later, the truth would come out with the full unedited conversation being actually leaked, with this version showing the full story and how Taylor never actually gave permission to Kanye. And during their phone call, Taylor clearly felt uncomfortable when asked if it was okay if she would be mentioned in the song, but Kanye did not seem to care as he proceeded to make jokes about it. With the shocking news that Taylor was wrongfully accused this whole time and undeservingly given hate by millions of people on social media, many felt instant sympathy for her. I did, but I never believed Kanye anyway. And last but not least, taking our number 1 spot, we have the Tonya Harding incident. Tonya was a very successful competitive figure skater that was praised for her dedication and outstanding skills in figure skating. After being the best in her craft, she began to be challenged by Nancy Kerrigan. Nancy was a figure skater that had a long-standing rivalry with Harding, and it ended up being that Nancy was the one person in the way of Tonya making her way to the Olympic team. Tonya's greed for success led her to scheme against Nancy to hire a hitman to intimidate her with a club. The hitman acted accordingly and promptly hit Nancy on her knee, leaving Nancy injured and unable to compete. With a full investigation going on about the attack, the team behind the attack would confess in the planning behind it, though Tonya insisted to not be involved. Later on, Tonya and Nancy would compete against each other, and with Tonya being on the bad side of the karma, she ended up coming in 8th, while Nancy took 2nd place. In due course, after the competition, the evidence mounted against Tonya continued to grow, and she eventually pleaded guilty to the attack. Everyone was waiting for that, leaving her with her figure skating titles taken away from her, and she was banned from the USFSA forever. Y'all, this documentary or movie or whatever is actually really interesting. You should go watch it. It's a cool story.
At number 10, Bella Thorne. Bella Thorne was definitely for real when she got caught in a lie wearing animal pelt after claiming it was faux fur. When Bella Thorne tried to shake off her social media critics back in 2018 when she posted an outfit of the day photo to Instagram rocking a fur coat, she made sure the trolls on the internet wouldn't come for her after claiming the fur wasn't real animal fur. Some users were quick to point out that the jacket looked very much like Alice and Olivia Tara's striped fur jacket, and the product listed on the site claimed that the jacket was made out of real fur. On the website, the product's overview would say crafted with super soft rabbit and blue fox fur. Bella's reps would then clarify the whole situation with TMZ, and they would later report that Bella was actually given the coat during a photo shoot and she was told it was faux fur. Her representatives also noted that now that she was aware of the actual material, she will no longer be wearing it. However, I mean, considering all clothes come with tags that let you know what the true materials are, Bella definitely knew the jacket was made with real fur, and this definitely was a way her representatives try to cover up the truth to save her image. Hey my little peaches, are you enjoying this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. At number 9, Kim Kardashian. After the 2022 Met Gala, Kim Kardashian had the chance to wear a dress originally worn by Marilyn Monroe when she sang "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" to the then president, John F. Kennedy Jr. Now, in a move that truly broke the internet, the reality TV star managed to get her hands on a $5 million dress famously worn by Monroe in 1962. But how on earth did Kim get her hands on such an iconic piece of history? Well, you can thank Kris Jenner for that one. However, after the Met Gala, the internet would be truly outraged at the fact that Ripley's allowed Kim to even wear the dress, as it would begin to circulate online that the reality TV star actually ruined the dress for the short period of time that she had the chance to wear it before changing into a replica dress, with Kim denying that she ruined the dress and that there was handlers present to put the dress on her. Even Ripley's would come out to try to say that the dress had already previously had damage to it. However, if you've seen the before and after photos of the damage done to the dress, you can obviously see that the dress was damaged during the Met Gala, and Kim and Ripley's are just lying to us to cover it up. And considering that Kim had a replica dress, she didn't even need to wear this dress in the first place. At number 8, Justin Bieber. Remember back in 2014 when Justin Bieber took to Instagram to say he bought himself a jet for Christmas? Well, it turns out that the pop star actually didn't buy himself his own set of wings, and that he was actually just renting the jet. According to TMZ, inside sources with direct knowledge about the private jet said that Justin was merely just chartering it for a Christmas flight from Canada to New York City. In other words, technically, it was just a really expensive Uber. While most of us were shocked that Justin took to his Instagram in the first place to brag about what Santa brought him for Christmas, the Gulfstream 650. Now, no doubt it was definitely a comfy ride, but it wasn't a ride in his own jet. Now, considering the jet was estimated to be around $200 million, it would have cost him just over a quarter of his entire fortune. Now, there's no denying that the jet was absolutely gorgeous, but the fact that Justin was pretending that he bought a jet definitely landed him on the naughty list that year. At number 7, Taylor Swift. Even though it's been 3 years since Taylor Swift and her former manager, Scooter Braun, started a highly publicized feud back in 2021, Scooter would open up about the truth, and it would be revealed that Taylor lied about everything. Now, the feud all started when Scooter dropped $300 million to purchase Big Machine label group, including all of its music catalogs, through his holding company. Scooter was able to secure masters from some musicians like Florida Georgia Line and Thomas Rhett. However, they wouldn't be the only artists affected by the purchase, as Scooter was even able to acquire everything Taylor Swift produced on her first albums. Taylor was definitely not fond about the deal, and she would come out to say that she was sad and grossed out by the sale, and she would also accuse Scooter of being a manipulative bully, and that she was never given the opportunity to buy back her own music before it ended up in Scooter's hands. When Scooter came out to talk about the messy situation, he would claim that Taylor had been lying to all of her fans all along, as he even offered to sell her back the music. Scooter would even say that he tried to sit down with Taylor 7 times to sell her back the catalog, and even went under an NDA, and her team just refused. So Taylor pretty much lied about not being able to buy her music back, because Scooter did try to squash the beef between the two. At number 6, Rebel Wilson. When Rebel Wilson tried to lie about her age by giving fans the impression she was still in her 20s, she would also give all her fans a false impression to a journalist when she said that her real birth name was Rebel Wilson. The Australian magazine decided to run a story. Rebel would come out to say that in a series of articles in 2015 that damaged her career by panning her as a serial liar, having told untruths about her real name, age, and childhood. Rebel would also claim that she never lied to any journalist and that she simply just deflected questions about her age because a lady never tells. Back in 2014, Rebel would claim that she was around 29 years old when she had the interview with the Australian's Woman Weekly. However, Wilson at the time was actually in her mid-30s. Rebel would also confirm that Rebel was her real name and how her mother came up with it. However, she was actually born with the real name of Melanie Elizabeth Bowens, and legally changed her name to Rebel Elizabeth Wilson, with Rebel denying that she ever had the interview to begin with. A hairdresser would then later testify saying he witnessed her speaking to a woman before her shoot, and just like that, Rebel would be exposed for her lies and her real background would be exposed, and we were all truly shook. At number 5, Paris Hilton. It's really hard to say that Paris Hilton was joking in 2017 when she took to Twitter to say that she and Britney Spears invented the selfie. When Paris headed over to share 2 selfies of her and Britney Spears, she would caption the post by saying, 11 years ago, me and Britney invented the selfie. Her Twitter mentions would then be flooded by users who would prove her claims were false. With many users still giving her the benefit of a doubt, it would later be revealed that a professor at the University of Southern California that Paris was definitely lying. The professor definitely had a good chuckle when he said that Robert Cornelius was actually the first person who created the first selfie when he took a picture of himself back in 1839. Not to mention there was a lot of celebrities taking selfies before Britney and Paris started snapping photos of themselves on their wild night out. And while Paris Hilton did not invent the first selfie, after she made the post, her and her publicist wouldn't respond, and it was definitely pretty funny that she tried to bring Britney Spears into her lie. And number 4, Kylie Jenner. Kylie Jenner can go pretty far just to get some attention, and the star isn't one to shy away from a good lie. At one point in her life, she even tried to convince us that she never had lip fillers done. However, a few years ago, she tweeted that she was eating cereal with milk for the first time and no one expected a fan to call her out on her lie. Now, many of us couldn't believe that Kylie actually never tried cereal with milk before. But when Joseph Shepard did some deep digging, he would tweet back to Kylie saying, "Girl, you lying. You had cereal with milk on April 25th, 2013 and posted it on Instagram." Joseph definitely came with receipts and it was pretty funny to read. However, after the post was posted, people began having a discussion whether the cereal was coated in milk or yogurt, but it definitely wasn't yogurt because the cereal appeared to have this little milk drizzle on it, and if it was yogurt, the strawberries would have been covered in it. Also, there's no denying that as a child, she also ate cereal with milk in it, because what parent doesn't feed their child cereal with milk growing up? And number 3, Tyga. Tyga definitely had a lot of us fooled for a long time. When Tyga released his first album, No Introduction, after it was released, he still needed to introduce himself and explain how he grew up. In 2013, an old video would be leaked of a show called Bustas, and it showed a teenage Tyga talking about living in Los Angeles. Tyga would then say he grew up not too tough and his parents had a Range Rover, but he was still very street. Now, the snippet raised a lot of questions as Tyga has always said he was from Compton, the West Coast city made famous by people like Dr. Dre. After the video surfaced, Tyga would come out to set the record straight during an appearance on Big Boy's Neighborhood, where he would say, "The intro beginning was scripted. I grew up in the Valley. I lived in Compton my whole life. I'm young, I'm ambitious. I don't care. I'm getting a check for this. I'm having fun, and I'm about to be on TV." Now, the controversy pretty much settled down after he explained himself, but it still makes us question if he's really telling us the truth on where he actually grew up before making it. At number 2, Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens. Disney may have been the most preferred channel to watch when we were younger, especially for teen viewers, but it's not known for leaving the same impression on its teen cast. Now, the studio is definitely widely admired for its amazing PR strategies and marketing campaigns to promote a movie or a series. But several teen stars emerging from the House of Mouse have revealed how far these strategies actually took a toll on them. Now, I think we can all agree we couldn't help but raise our eyebrows when we started to connect Disney's PR strategies with Vanessa Hudgens and Zac Efron's relationship. It really seemed at the time like it was a Disney dream come true when the High School Musical stars started dating. But after the final movie was released, the two would break up, and it led to many of us to think that they were simply only together to promote the films. Since the two got together, they were always on the news for their popular off-screen romance. So it surprised us all when they would end things after the franchise released its last film. Disney and the pair tricked us into thinking that they were an actual couple, bringing in more views to the film, and it isn't the first time Hollywood has made us love an on-screen couple and has made the co-stars fake a relationship just to bring in more views to the movie. Hollywood uses this move to bring in more press, and it definitely worked in this case because we all thought this relationship was real. And at the number 1 spot today, we have Beyonce. During an interview with Marie Claire UK, Beyonce would suggest that she wrote the lyrics to the song Irreplaceable. Beyonce would go on to say, "I'm not sure people think I wrote this about Jay-Z or something, but obviously the person is not the person at all." Now, we all wondered at the time when the song was released if it was written about her husband. However, the song couldn't possibly have been written about him because Beyonce never wrote the lyrics to the song at all, and it would actually be revealed that Ne-Yo wrote it. In an interview with a radio station, Ne-Yo would discuss the songs that he had written for other artists, and he said one of the songs he gave away that he didn't want to was Beyonce's Irreplaceable. "I honestly wrote that song myself." Ne-Yo would end up giving the song to Beyonce because he felt like if he sang it as a male, it wouldn't have come out right. However, I think we're all disappointed that Beyonce tried to take the credit for the whole song herself when Ne-Yo wrote it, and she definitely should have given him the credit because he definitely deserved it. Starting off the list today, we have at number 10, Jennifer Lopez. Age can definitely be a touchy subject for some people, especially when that person happens to work in the entertainment industry. Now, there's no denying that Jennifer Lopez looks ageless. And many of us can't actually believe that the star is actually 53 years old, as the star looks years younger. However, it seems like Jennifer got a little touchy about the subject when she tried to convince us back in the day that she was actually born in 1970. For the star trying to shave just a year off her lies would eventually catch up to her after a police report would expose Jennifer's real birthday. Back in the day, Jennifer was dating her then boyfriend, Puff Daddy, who is known to be now as P. Diddy. She would be questioned by police in a nightclub, and the issue about the altercation that involved her boyfriend in the club located in New York City would expose her age. When the press was finally able to get their hands on that police report, Jennifer's lies would be exposed because up until that point, she claimed to be born in 1970, not 1969. Even today, some outlets still claim that Jennifer was born in 1970, so the lie still lives on. At number 9, Chrissy Teigen. After it was revealed that Chrissy Teigen was bullying Courtney Stodden online when she was just a child, Chrissy would try to explain that she reached out about the issue to Courtney and issued her an apology privately. However, Courtney would then reveal that Chrissy never tried to reach out to them privately to apologize for the abusive tweets and direct messages that they received back in 2011. Courtney then went on to say that she did accept her public apology and forgave her. The truth would still remain the same, that they never heard from Chrissy in private. She would then also reveal that Chrissy had blocked them instead of issuing an apology to them in private. And the fact that Chrissy would go on to block Courtney instead of apologizing leads us all to believe that her initial apology wasn't really sincere, and it felt more like a public attempt to save her image and her partnership with Target. Chrissy was a broken record, as she wasn't as nice as she seemed, with Chrissy claiming that she was mortified and sad with who she used to be, who was ashamed of completely being embarrassed by her behavior. And number 8, Bow Wow. Back in 2017, Bow Wow would post a photo of him on Instagram where he tried to convince us all that he was boarding a private jet from Georgia to New York to promote his upcoming TV show Growing Up Hip Hop. However, as soon as the photo began to circulate online, a fan on the same commercial flight Bow Wow was really traveling on would surface. A fellow passenger would say, "So this guy, Little Bow Wow, is on my flight to New York," but on Instagram he posted a picture of a private jet captioned, "Traveling to New York today, shaking my head," and if the situation couldn't get any worse, fans would then spot the original photo Bow Wow posted, which appeared to be taken from a website from a Florida VIP transportation company. After Bow Wow's lies were exposed, he would then react. Bow Wow would say, "I'm flying and I like the picture, I'ma throw it up. And I'm flying to New York, but I like this picture better. I didn't say that I'm on this jet, I'm about to travel." However, by posting the jet, he definitely was trying to pull a Justin Bieber on all of us, and he knew exactly what he was doing. He just didn't think he would get caught for it. At number 7, Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj is another celebrity who clearly thinks age is just a touchy subject, as back in 2011, Nicki would be caught lying about her age. She tried to claim for years that she was actually 2 years younger than what she actually was. With the incident being pretty pointless, it would cause a bunch of us to question why she was only trying to shave off 2 years. Nicki's age age lie would be exposed after she was involved in a serious conflict. The rapper is now known to be born in 1982. She's currently 40 years old. For the longest time, however, though, she was able to maintain this huge lie that she was actually born in 1984. However, when the rapper found herself in a serious altercation, a police report would later reveal that she had been lying about her age, and she was actually 2 years older than what she led us all to believe. However, I don't think any of us were really shocked that the star was lying, as she's been lying to us for years about not having any plastic surgery done. And the police report that exposed her just proved that she wasn't the real authentic person that she was telling us that she was, and that you can't trust a pop star with an over-the-top ego who sings songs about being an alpha female on top of the world. And number 6, Shania Twain. Shania Twain lied about her heritage, and it was really offensive towards the Native American community. When Shania Twain tried to claim that she had Native American blood running through her veins, a Canadian newspaper that began to circulate around her hometown before going viral would claim otherwise. Twain would then react by retreating her statement and would say when she was just 2 years old, her biological dad left and her mom would marry a man from a Native American tribe who happened to be Jerry Twain. When Shania was just 4 years old, however, Clarence Edwards was actually Shania's biological father. When Shania's mom married Jerry, Shania would state that he was the only father she had ever known and that her stepfather legally adopted her at a young age, so she was led to believe from the longest time that he was actually her birth father. But when she made the comment, she knew about her real birth father. And she made the comment without being certain about her heritage, which would force the singer to backtrack on her comments and would be like, man, I feel like a liar. However, that wouldn't stop Shania from legally registering herself as having 50% Native American blood, as she was able to do so thanks to her father adopting her. And number 5, Britney Spears. Back in 2021, Britney Spears would admit to all of us that her bizarre social media posts that led us all to believe that she was okay were all just a lie. When the pop star spoke to Judge Brenda Penny, she would reveal that the severity of her mental health and well-being was deteriorating due to her being under a court order conservatorship. Britney would go on to say that, "I've lied and I told the world I'm okay and I'm happy. It's a lie. I've been in denial, I've been in shock, I am traumatized. Fake it till you make it, but now I'm telling you the truth, okay? I'm not happy, I can't sleep, I'm depressed, I cry every day." For years, none of us truly even understood what was happening with Britney Spears, and she used her social media to paint a picture to her fans that she was happy and she was doing fine, when she really wasn't. With videos of her dancing around her Calabasas home, none of us truly knew what Britney was going through. Britney wasn't able to be truly happy until she came out with her truth. However, the 13 years she had to suffer at the hands of her father were truly saddening, and we're all just happy to see her finally free and doing what she wishes. And number 4, Martha Stewart. Now, Martha Stewart is known for her crafty planning tips, delicious recipes. However, in 2001, her involvement in an inside trading scandal would lead to Martha's arrest, and she would be sentenced to prison for 5 months. So for those of you who don't know what inside trading is, it's pretty much a practice in which an individual buys or sells stocks they have in a company using information that's not available to the public. Insider trading is illegal, and if you're found guilty of the offense, it can result in some pretty heavy fines and prison sentences. Near the end of 2001, things really didn't start to look good for Clone after the company failed to get FDA approval on the medication they were developing. During an investigation, one of the founders of the company would be arrested, and investigators would also discover that Martha had sold 4,000 shares of the stock she owned with the company just 1 day before the company announced the FDA's decision, and she somehow managed to avoid losing around $45,000 in the process. Martha has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing and claiming that she had an agreement with her broker to sell the shares if they went below a certain price. However, that would just be a lie, and Martha would then be charged for security fraud, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy. And number 3, Rick Ross. When photos of Rick Ross started to circulate of him working as a correctional officer in the mid-90s, his past would become a huge topic, as the star would try to deny the topic for years until he made an appearance on the Full Send podcast. Rick would speak about his brief stint as a correctional officer and why he doesn't beef with other rappers, with Rick admitting he worked in a Florida jail between 1995 and 1997. He said that he he is now open about that experience and what it was like and why he chose to leave the job behind. Around the time when he was 20, he really didn't get to make it to prison because you have to go through a lot of training, and he actually didn't even last that long, as he was only there for 4 months before they told him he was too tardy for the job. And that's why he went to pursue another job. For the longest time, the rapper tried to deny being a correctional officer because he felt like it took away from his street credit. After admitting to his job, he would then say that even rappers need to have a job every now and then. Coming in at number 2, Sean Kingston. Sean Kingston definitely tried to pull one on us, and he definitely tried to pull one out of Justin Bieber's books when he tried to impress his date. Back in 2012, Sean would tell the paparazzi that he was the proud new owner of Justin Bieber's sports car, as he bought the car from Bieber. I think Sean knew that Justin was consistently lying about buying cars and jets and yachts, that he wouldn't call him out on his lies. However, that definitely would not be this case, as it would later be revealed that Justin didn't sell him the car and that he only lent it to him for a couple of days. And while we can only guess that Bieber won't be trusting anybody with his things anymore, I think it's worth mentioning that Justin probably shouldn't be trusted with Justin things anymore, as he consistently lies about them to us. However, it was still pretty funny to see Sean sweat it out when Bieber exposed his lies and said that he was only borrowing the car and that the car was already back safe in his garage. And coming in at number 1 today, we have Khloe Kardashian. So back in 2015, Khloe would be caught in a Thanksgiving pie lie. Khloe is definitely like all of us when it comes to dealing with the holidays and the stress that surrounds it. However, when the star was caught lying about taking credit for pies that she did not bake, something tells us that at some point or another we have all been found guilty of committing the same crime. When Khloe took to her Instagram to share snaps of pumpkin, pecan, and cherry pies, she would then try to claim that she baked all of them from scratch. However, it looks like she actually purchased them from Sweet Lady Jane, a bakery that's located in West Hollywood, as fans pointed out that the desserts looked highly familiar as other celebrities had during the season, that they shared similar posts and credited the bakery. Now, it seems like this wouldn't be Khloe's only Thanksgiving offense of the lies, as the year prior she actually shared a photo of the same trio of pies in the oven and captioned it, "All of my homemade greatness." So if Khloe ever serves you a pie in the future, it probably wasn't homemade.